Okay, so we have just figured out that this handprint is made out of
So the handprint was made from mercury and sulfur.
mercury and sulfur. Thank you, Nancy. So one thing we can do is, if you look on here, it says keep it real restoration, acetone, isopropyl alcohol, mercuric sulfide. So let's try calling them.
You have no voicemail.
Okay, 5556766.
Keep it real. Max speaking.
Hi, do you sell a compound of mercury and sulfur?
Mercuric sulfide? Oh, we sure do. How much do you need? First things first. What account's this for?
Actually, I didn't call to place an order. I just need some information on Beach Hill's ordering history.
Well, hello there, Beach Hill. Hey, you're not Sunny June. Whatever happened to that guy? I suppose he caught a ride on a flying saucer, huh? What a riot. I'm sorry. Anyway, you don't need to reorder, do you? Unless you ate last week's shipment for breakfast, that is.
Do you know who placed that order?
The initials on the order are J.R.
Was the package shipped to the museum?
Oh? Oops, I guess we didn't ship it at all. It looks like the package was picked up here at the warehouse.
Can you remember anything about the person who picked up the package?
I sure can't. Guess I must have been at lunch or something.
You're sure it was last week?
Oh, that's what it says here.
Well, thanks for your help.
Sure thing. I hope there wasn't any problem with the stuff, was there? We only used the top-grade mercuric sulfide.
Problem? Not that I could hold you responsible for.
Well, you sound a little green in the chemicals department, if you don't mind my saying so. I hope you know that mercuric sulfide is highly toxic. Makes you crazy.
Toxic?
Oh, looks like I've got another call coming in here. You give us a call in about 4 months or so when you start to run out, okie doke? And don't forget to keep it real.
So JR for Joanna Riggs. Let's go talk to her and see if we can ask her about that.
Need something?
I did the chemical analysis you suggested. That red hand was printed with a compound containing mercury and sulfur. Does that mean anything to you?
Sure, cinnabar. The Maya would rub it into their most important carvings to add definition to the artist's lines.
Does the museum keep cinnabar around?
We use cinnabar here at the museum the same way the Maya did, to keep things as authentic as possible. Henrik orders those kinds of supplies, but we've been out of stock for quite a while. The last I heard, there was some kind of holdup with the distributor.
I've got work to do.
Carpe diem.
So either she's lying or she doesn't know that someone ordered cinnabar for Beach Hill. Okay, so let's go to our hotel computer to look at Sunny's disk, because that will help us with a few of our tasks. Put it in there, and then you can click on it. And needs a password, which if you know anything about Sunny June, you can guess it. And the password is also like in his journal a lot, or there's like hints for it, but it's Coco Kringle. I guess the cow is the hint too. Coco Kringles. And I don't know if you have to put a space there or not, but I did do a space between Coco and Kringles. Okay, so stuff to do. Jerry's hounding me about getting this done, but I can't keep all of them straight. The headphones will help me figure out what is playing in the display, and the Convo-matic machine in the storage room will let me change what plays in an exhibit. So where am I going wrong? I definitely know that the following match. So this is really helpful because it basically gives us the answers to a few of these audio connections. And I think in junior, so this is senior detective. I'm playing on senior detective. Junior detective, you get a lot more of them, maybe even all of them, but we only get these. So, that's helpful though, and it saves us some work. So we can go ahead and start with that and then figure out the rest of them. Stuff to remember. Dots, bars, and gods. Sonny's I'd rather be counting sheep guide to the Maya number system. So I guess he finds the Maya number system really boring. 0 looks like a turtle shell, but no turtle. 1 dot is 1, 2 dots is 2, etc. 1 bar equals 5. So 2 bars is 10. Each dot is an individual fingerprint in the bar since the whole hand. Okay, so just some little hints here on how the number system works. A bar with a dot next to it is 5 plus 1, so 6, and then 3 bars in a dot would be 5, 10, 15, 16. Bars are usually vertical, up and down. Dots should be to the left of the bars. Here's the catch. If it doesn't look exactly like a dot or bar, it doesn't count. Squigglies, ovals, incomplete dots. None of these count. You can ignore decorative marks. Some gods also represent numbers. They're pretty tough to pick out at first, but they'll grow on you just like hold-on cheese. Some good rules of thumb. 1 has fish lips, a really big nose, and a set of good teeth. 2 has a big hat. I'm not going to read all this. Basically, he's telling us how to do the number system. And like some of the numbers will be just dots and bars, but some will be faces. So this is the guide to what the face is. So like 9, if the face has beard or it looks like acne, it's the number 9. 17, 18, and 19 all look like the original numbers, but put with the removable jaw of Lahoon. Okay, so that's helpful. So now we have enough information to do both the audio exhibits and the numbering puzzle. So we'll do those two. Stuff to forget. System login, SJune, system password, space baby. So definitely write this down because we will need that later on for the temple quizzes. He says, or sorry, not temple quizzes. I think you need it for one of the puzzles in the temple that's on a computer. And then he's saying, I can't figure out the answer to the level 2 quiz question about the matchmaker, and Henrik isn't speaking to me right now. He's way too touchy about that old ham radio. So either I'm blind as a bat and can't find the exhibit that has the answer, or we just never put it in. Joanna is no help on this, so I'll just have to wait for, I'll let blah, 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 Henrik deal with the trauma. Came up with a great question for level 3, but Henrik hates it. Once I get some time, I'll make an exhibit for this, just don't know where I can get my hands on one. I wonder if Joanna will spring a trip for me to go down to Guatemala. Okay, so some more hints about things that we will be encountering later on. Basically, when we get to the level 2 temple, one of the quiz questions is about a matchmaker, and the answer isn't going to be anywhere in the museum. So something to deal with later. Dissertation topic, the demise of the ancient Maya, drought, plague, or UFO. Why and how did Maya civilization disappear so quickly? Claims that Maya disappearance on Earth was blah, blah, blah. And he's connecting Maya history to flying saucers and UFOs and aliens. So I don't think any of this is actually important. We can ignore that. And that's all that's on Sunny's disc. So since we're in the hotel room, let's call Bess and George. Give them an update.
No peeking at my cards, George. Hello?
Hey, Bess, it's me, Nancy.
Hey, Nancy. How's life at the museum?
Everything was going great until someone broke into a display case and stole one of the museum's most valuable artifacts. A jade carving of King Pakal.
A theft? When? How? Who are your suspects? Do you have any clues?
Easy, ladies. Let's just say that so far, I have more questions than I do answers. But don't worry, I'm on the case.
There goes your low-key internship. Honestly, Nancy, it never will cease to amaze me how one girl can cross paths with so much trouble.
I don't know what to make of Alejandro Del Rio, the attaché to the Mexican consulate.
What's his connection to Beach Hill?
Right now, he's negotiating the monolith loan agreement between Mexico and the museum.
And what's your confusion? Something to do with dashing good looks, I hope.
Well, he is a little bit handsome, but he also seems very angry about all the Mexican antiquities his country has lost over the years.
How have they been lost?
They've been taken by explorers and archaeologists and smugglers. I guess the laws have only recently changed to protect Mexico's rights to its own antiquities.
Well, it sounds like he has a legitimate gripe.
Yes, but I got the feeling he would do just about anything to get an artifact returned to Mexico.
What do you mean, anything?
That's what I'm not sure of.
Well, let's hope he's just a big talker and not a bona fide vigilante.
Ever since the theft, I haven't been able to find Henrik anywhere.
That's odd. Has anyone else seen him?
If they have, they sure aren't telling me.
Nancy, do you think he's the thief?
I can't imagine that.
Maybe he's just an accomplice. Maybe he loosened security somehow to make the thief's job easier.
It's possible, but Henrik seems to care so much about his work. Why would he want to hurt the museum?
Maybe he cares a little too much.
She's right, Nancy. I'd give him the 3rd degree if I were you. Whenever he shows up again, that is.
Somehow, Joanna has gotten the museum into some financial hot water.
How'd she do that?
Yeah, and how hot's the water?
It's all very vague. I want to give her the benefit of the doubt. I mean, maybe she just overextended the budget a little in her effort to acquire the best artifacts for the museum, but
even if her intentions were good...
she may be feeling a little desperate to make some money back quickly.
Desperate enough to steal the Pakal carving, sell it on the black market, and collect the insurance on it too?
I know she loves the museum. Who knows what she'd do if she were afraid of losing her job.
She's a suspect.
Definitely a suspect.
I'll talk to you later, ladies.
We're rooting for ya.
Yeah, you're doing great.
Some encouraging words from Bess and George. Gotta love that. Okay, so let's talk to all the characters, and then I'll go back and do some of those puzzles.
Hello, Nancy.
Why did Mexico choose to lend the monolith to Beach Hill and not some other museum?
Johanna Riggs outbid everyone. I had no idea a small museum like Beach Hill could afford such an expensive arrangement.
Have you heard? The Pakal carving was stolen from the museum.
Well, I heard the alarms going off, but it wasn't until Henry called me that I heard the news.
You don't sound very concerned about all of this.
I was running late. I just figured somebody tripped a wire and I kept going. Whew.
I'll need to alert the police so they can ask you some questions.
I have diplomatic immunity, so I do not have to answer any questions. But I will because I have nothing to hide.
Don't you care about the disappearance of such a rare Maya artifact?
That artifact was lost to me as soon as it left Mexican soil. So my friend Pakal goes underground for a while until he is sold again. Suddenly, he turns up in Amsterdam or Hong Kong. Unless he is rightfully repatriated to Mexico, what's the difference?
Do you consider Henrik a conquistador, along with Joanna Riggs and Sinclair?
Henrik is a student of my culture and my heritage, not trying to buy and sell it. We don't agree on everything, especially not baseball, but I have nothing against him.
Do you know much about Maya glyphs?
You've got me there. I know Spanish, English, Portuguese, and several indigenous languages, including Quiche and Nahuatl, but I have yet to learn the language of glyphs.
Do you know what cinnabar is?
The red powder that the Maya used? Sure, I know it. They use it at Beach Hill too, do they not?
They do use it at the museum, but Joanna told me they haven't been able to get any in a while.
What is your point?
Joanna said the museum didn't have any, but the supplier said she ordered some last week.
Have you called the police?
I don't want to jump to conclusions.
Of course. Sister Joanna couldn't possibly be a thief now, could she?
I should get back to the museum.
Goodbye.
It's a fiasco, just as I feared. Oh, I'm sick about the whole thing.
Yes, your fears seem to have been quite visionary.
I was in the museum when it happened.
Do you think it's the same person who carried out those other thefts?
That awful red hand was left on Prudence Rutherford's jewelry box in Topeka, and on the display case in the museum in New Mexico. What's the chance they're not connected?
Do you know Prudence Rutherford personally?
Oh, we saw each other at functions now and then. Poor Prudence. She adored that necklace.
What's the name of the museum in New Mexico?
The Chaco Canyon Cultural Center. They had a beautiful collection up there, worth a bundle, too. I appraised some pieces for them a few years back.
Why do you think the thief is leaving this red handprint?
To be a gruesome scoundrel?
The Pakal thief's glyph message translates to, "The magician suffers yellow death." What in the world do you think that means?
You've got me there.
I'd better get going.
Keep up the good work.
Okay, back to the museum. Now, I forgot, I can't actually do this yet because
Just one more tile.
I'm still missing a tile. But we can do the audio one, so or we can do some of them. Okay, so the ones that Sunny had on his disc. He didn't have A, but he had B as narration 1.
I am Lord Pakal.
Okay, he had E as... Oh, sorry. This is...
I am Lord...
This is... E is 1. B is 8. So actually this was right to begin with. B is 8. E is 1. F is 6. That's correct. H is 15. Okay, maybe he just has these on here because he already did them, because they're already correct. K is 12, L is 4. K is 12, L is 4. Yeah, okay, he already did these. So basically, we don't have to... N is 10, 0 is 11. So we really just need to do J. We need to figure out J. We need to figure out G. We need to figure out D, A, so C, A, C, D, G, and J are the ones we need to figure out. So I guess I'm wrong, but maybe on Junior Detective there are still more answers. Okay, so the way we do this is look at Sunny's journal, and here are the different exhibits. So A is here, so let's do A first. We need A, C, D. Let's do A, C, D because, well, C's in the garden. Let's do A and D and G because those three are in the museum. And then we'll do the garden ones. So A, D, and G. Now that we know where they are. A is over here.
The Maya used different methods to represent numbers. Here is an example of the numbers from 0 to 19, from top left to bottom right. Notice how some numbers are represented with bars and...
A should be about the ham radio, not about numbers. D is the numbers one.
Strange supernatural creatures, sometimes called
and G is here.
The date on this slab uses the Tzolk'in.
And it's about body shaping. So now we just go here and listen until we find the ones that match that. So A is about the ham radio. which
Archaeologists work in some of
is
the most
5.
remote areas of the world.
So now A is correct. C is... Oh, wait, we haven't done C yet. So D, A, D. D was about the Maya number system, which was 7, because that's what was on
The
A
Maya
originally.
used different methods to represent numbers.
And then G is about body shaping, and
In addition
it's
to
number 9.
adorning themselves with jewelry and costumes, the Maya shaped their bodies to heighten their beauty.
Okay, so now let's do C and J, which are in the garden. J is right here. It's this first one.
In addition to adorning themselves with jewelry and costumes, the
This
Maya
is
shaped
the
their
Rutherford
bodies to
slab.
heighten their beauty.
So we need to change that audio to the Rutherford slab audio, and then C is all the way on the other side here. It's around right here.
Archaeologists work in some of the most remote areas of the world.
Bicephalic altar.
Ham radios are often the only means of contacting the outside.
Okay, so now we know what those are supposed to be, and we can match the audio descriptions. Okay, so C.
Archaeologists work in some of the most...
C was about a bicephalic altar, which is 14.
Strange, supernatural creatures, sometimes called monsters, played an important role in Maya mythology. These monsters were often associated with the earth, caves, or mountains. The bicephalic monster, sometimes...
Okay, and then J is about a slab,
There, that looks like it's in order.
which is 13. J is 13, and I wasn't able to listen to it before we solved the puzzle. But that is how you do the audio puzzle. Looks like we have another note. Nancy, the police called. They want me to go down to the station for further questioning. Something about an anonymous tip. Ugh, do I have time for this? No. Hold down the fort while I'm gone, will you please? I left my office open. If you need anything, be back soon, Joanna.